Hi there, Cancer. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Welcome to your very personal stage moon cycle reading. Let's get right to it. Okay, now let's see. The moon does not go into your sign here during the air or fire stage. But it does go into Scorpio and Pisces. We are currently in Scorpio, and Pisces is the sign that we lead out with, okay, on October 3rd, right before we reach the full moon in Aries. Okay, now you just popped out with Judgment. There is transformation. There is a decision that you're making, and we are in the air cycle stage of the. Okay, you're ready. Let's get on with it. Six of Pentacles, the Three of Wands in reverse, the Mother of Swords in reverse. Now, let me backtrack, Cancer. There is so much going on for you. Okay, the energy is like on high drive, okay, in terms of the processing, I'm hearing the processing power of this next cycle, okay, in terms of the preparation for it, okay. Now you have here, let me backtrack though. I was going to say that, so we are currently in the air stage of the moon cycle, okay, so from about September 20th, marking the new moon period in Libra, to the September 27th, 28th, okay, marking the first 7 days of the air stage of the moon cycle. All about planning, strategy, implementation, okay, comes next. Implementation, right, speaks of the fire stage, as mentioned in the mini explanatory section video before this one. Nonetheless, in terms of how you are strategizing for this new beginning, and the way that I've laid the cards out is on the left side we have 3 cards that speak to the air stage, okay, that speak to the ways in which you are channeling the focus of energies during this time. On the right hand side we have 3 cards that speak to the fire stage, okay. So the first 7 days and the last 7 days. And you'll see this in the calendar schedule that I sent through for you via email as well. Nonetheless, you have here the Empress, okay, in your theme, overlaying the Four of Swords upright, overlaying the Mother of Cups upright, overlaying the Seven of Swords in reverse. Okay. Now, there is a focus on the birth of something. Okay, and it has to do with your nurturing propensities, Cancer. It has to do with this propensity to feel. I'm hearing that. To feel. And that is exactly, right, what the moon cycle represents, with the moon being the ruler of Cancer. So what we're getting here, though, as a focus is not only, right, nurturing, not only creating, not only, in a way, right, giving, okay, supporting others. First and foremost, Cancer, there's this focus on the support of self, right? The Empress. Sort of upholding your own end. I'm hearing your own end of the bargain, your own, right? I'm hearing your glorious being. What is it about you that allows you to be who you are? You're coming to terms with that. You're coming to terms with what characterizes you, Cancer, with what drives you creatively. And it's that, I'm hearing for a number of you, that missing link, that question of my personal power, by which, right, tapping into, I create, by way of reinforcing my structure, my foundation as an independent individual, right? The Empress, very independent, very individual. As much as she is nurturing and mothering, right, she has her feet planted firmly on the ground, right? I'm hearing for a number of you, there's no bending backwards, right? It's like the tree is not swaying in the wind to the point where it's toppling over, right? So there's this rigidity to the Empress. But there's a focus not only on the firmness of your groundedness, of your ability to define your sense of self. At the same time, there's this this connectedness, okay, this importance of how you connect with others. So while there is a focus on independence and individuality, there's at the same time this cognizance of the collective and your very independent personal role in it. What I'm getting though for you, Cancer, is that you're recognizing in this moment just how important the way that you perceive yourself in every state is. And it may be that you are in a certain period of time, in a certain environment, in a certain situation that is testing in a certain way. Okay, tests how you see yourself. But it's the moment when you come to terms with not the point of where you stand environmentally, right? It's not like, is it day or is it night? How do I look in this lighting? It's like the point when you come to terms with who I am regardless of what I'm experiencing external from me. And sometimes it takes the moments, right, where it's like we're in the dark to know that we can glow in the dark, to see our colors, right? And so I'm getting this very strongly for you, this dichotomy between light and dark, okay? We're seeing that throughout your spread, but we're seeing it very strongly here on the Empress card and the Four of Swords. So on the Four of Swords card, right, there's the sun on the third eye chakra area of this lamb. And on the Empress card, we have this moon that sits atop this tree. So there's the darkness and there's the light. There's the alluding to the light by way of the vision, right? The dreaming, the understanding that it's all a matter of perception. Whatever we're experiencing, it's all a matter of perception. And it's all relative at the same time. How we see ourselves in relation to what we're experiencing. Is it about what we're experiencing, or is it about the perception? I'm hearing foothold for a number of you. So there may be a situation, right, where it's like you may feel, well, I'm fixed in a certain way. There's this sort of fixity. There's this, I can't just get up and leave, right? I don't like the lighting in here. Why can't I just get up and leave? I'm getting that there's this concentration of focus for you on not what you're experiencing, but what it's showing you. And it's that clarity in the dark that brings you to this point, Cancer, to decide on what takes you to the places that you dream of. It's very powerful, Cancer, very, very, very powerful. And there's this focus for you on connecting with your intuition, okay? The intuitive energies are very, very strong there. You have the Mother of Cups mirroring this Empress, tremendous focus on listening to, tuning in to your intuition about whatever this period of time is regarding transformation. Okay, now for a number of you may be heeding advice, okay, from someone who's very, very intuitive. There may be that, but I am feeling for the majority of you that is your own energy, Mother of Cups. Now, you have as well the Six of Swords upright, overlaying the Four of Pentacles in reverse. These two cards are sitting horizontally, right in the top left-hand corner of your spread, right over these 3 cards that sit situated in the air stage of your reading. 2 sixes, very interesting. Okay, you have the 3 of Wands right beneath the 4 of Pentacles. Now, you have death as well in your sort of near future, right? In the fire stage of the moon cycle, looking over at the Mother of Swords, who's in reverse. There's an uprooting, transformation, transfiguration of the way that we, I'm here, allow ourselves to think about ourselves. There's a focus on reshaping our ideals. Not because we're changing our ideals, but because we're changing how we perceive our ideals. We accept our ideals. Okay, there's a great focus on that. Great focus on that. Leaving the creative leg room. Okay, leaving the room for growth. For the refounding of a stability of some sort. Okay, but first and foremost, right, by following the thread that leads us deeper and deeper into ourselves, into the home of whatever this desire, this dream is, of creation, of transformation. The focus for you is on that, Cancer, on the perception, okay, of stability. So there's a focus here on finances and career, absolutely. We're at 4 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles. We are seeing that, okay. But there's a question of, I'm hearing, how am I going to get out of it? I'm hearing, how am I going to get out of it? Okay, and so there's this need to not only strategize, but to understand how our previous strategies somehow got us, I'm hearing, in a loophole, in this process of it's almost like a cyclical sort of nature, and perhaps even an entanglement of some kind, that you're now sort of undoing. Okay, it's like undoing the web a little bit, undoing the web of thinking and how we are engaged in the process of stabilizing ourselves. Okay, so again, career finances may be a focus for you here. Nonetheless, there's a question of growth. Okay, there's a question of growth and how it is that we even define growth, financial growth, material growth, stability above all. And there's the recognition that I've got to completely transform the paradigm that I'm working through. Completely. To make it through the cycle. And it's almost like everywhere you turn, okay, it's almost like you're in that room of mirrors. Everywhere you turn, you just see yourself looking back at yourself. Right? It's like all eyes are on you, right? And death is looking back at the 3 of Wands in reverse, and Mother of Swords in reverse. There's this focus on just completely releasing, which is interesting because, right, during the air stage, right, it's all about sort of this strategizing, this organizing of creative ideas, this sort of explicit nature, okay, to processes of manifestation. But Pisces is Cancer. It's almost as if you are being compelled to release all of that, right? The ways in the past that you have perhaps thought through certain processes of I'm hearing discovery, of manifestation, of creation. And so it's the reshaping of that air energy and the way that it's channeled that I feel is the focus for you during this air stage. Okay, so there's this coming to terms with what comes next, what's this next chapter for me, and you have 2 3s here, it's very exciting. Speaking of creation, but again, first it's on the perception of what it is creation means for me, and how stability is a byproduct of that creation. Okay, and I'm hearing for you, where do I want to create from? Where do I want to create from? Now, moving into the fire stage, you have death, you have the 2 of Cups, and you have the 5 of Wands. Let me tune in for you here, Cancer. I'm hearing what's done is done. What's done is done. And you understand it's about transforming judgment and death. It's about transforming. So much focus is on this 3 of Wands. So much focus is on understanding what we now understand did not serve this transformation of how how we stabilize ourselves. Not just ourselves in relation to what we create, but ourselves, our character, as the ultimate creator of it all. There's this point of focus on what it means to create, on what it means, I'm hearing, to serve, okay, on what it means to continually transform through ourselves, through the process of what we're creating. Are we growing from what we're creating? Are we transforming? Is what we're creating feeding us too, right? So I'm getting that the focus for you in terms of implementation and action is very interesting, because you have the Three of Wands and the Two of Cups, 2, 3 in sequence, mirroring one another. The focus for you is on, first, the conceptualization of the action that you want to take, where that action takes you, okay? And then the implementation in a way that, for a number of you, may be in tandem, okay, with another. So there may be this partnering up for a number of you, okay, in terms of, I'm hearing superseding this goal, pursuing this goal, creative vision. But for a number of you, taking an approach that, I'm hearing, abides by the emotional law. So the focus for you, I'm getting in the next fire stage of the moon cycle, is on how you feel through it. Feeling through what you create. Feeling in the dark. I'm getting that feeling, like feeling in the dark, like practicing closing your eyes and feeling in the dark, right? Almost shutting off like the mind, the processing, like I'm going to see it, and then I'm going to think about it, and then I'm going to digest it. It's like, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm not going to see it, I'm not going to try and listen for it even. I'm just going to interpret it by way of how I feel around it. So there's this resonance that you are coming into, and you understand that that is your gateway. That's your gateway. Okay, but it requires of you, yet again, very, very strongly, to almost unhinge the intellectual, rational mind. Okay, and that is your point of transformation. Now, from there, once this sort of releasing of, I'm hearing barriers into it, sort of the intellectualization of the process is had, there are so many ways we can move. There are so many alternatives, so many courses of action that we can take. Once we have come to terms with how we feel about it, it's almost as if, right in that space of resonating, okay, with the changes that we want to make and what it is we want to create and what takes us there, right? What gives us that sense of satisfaction and alliance with what we're doing. Not because, right, it makes sense, Mother of Swords, not because we've understood it and have decided it should make sense, but just because we're glowing in the dark, right? No matter the day, the night, unconditionally, we find ourselves there. It's that space that then leads you to see so much more, so many more options. And it's almost like, right, it's like once you learn to see in the dark, Cancer, it's like, at first you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything, right? The light switch off. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I was looking in the light for so long, and then now I'm in the dark and I can't see anything, and everything goes pitch black. Am I ever going to see again, right? It's like kind of like that. And then, but slowly your eyes start to adjust, and as you sort of acclimate yourself to the lighting and the environment and the shift, right? Death sitting right beneath the Empress. And you begin to grow comfortable. And yet again, there may be someone who's working with you in this space, who you similarly, maybe a partner, who you, I'm hearing you confide in, okay, who uniquely understands this process of transformation. I'm getting that it is a supportive energy, Cancer, but the moment that you acclimate and you adjust fully, and you just simply be in that moment, right? You see not only yourself, but you see everything that you want to do as who you see yourself as in this state. And that leaves you yet again with so many options, 5 of Wands, right? Then it's like, oh, I can see everything. I see these glow in the dark mushrooms. I see all of this foliage that I didn't see in the light. And it opens up a whole new world for me. And it's a very expansive nature, very, very expansive nature. It sits right beneath the Judgment card. They're mirroring one another. There's absolute transformation here for you, Cancer. What a beautiful reading. Have a beautiful new moon, first half of the moon cycle. And I will see you soon. Love and light to all. Bye.